Good morning, good morning. Just going to wait for some people to start watching. Hopefully they will. Good morning. Andrew Ellis, good morning. Thank you for dropping on to see us. We'll wait for a few more. Got three. Good morning, three people. Welcome to the recovery hour with myself. Thank you for dropping on to see us. We'll wait for a few more. Got three. Good morning, three people. Welcome to. Sorry about that. We've got a bit of technical problems. Morning, Ash. Morning, Andy Baker. Just wait for a few more. 7 people. Thank you for joining us in the recovery hour with myself on behalf of Kickback Recovery. Good morning, Joel. Nice to see you, brother. So quickly, the recovery hour, it's going to be every Tuesday for 1 hour, 9:30 till 10:30. We've done it around that time for, school drops and stuff like school runs and people at work. Maybe they'll set the job up and they can have an hour just watching what we're doing and getting involved. Topics around addiction, recovery, mental health, dual diagnosis, and also we welcome affected family members. So it's a place where I want everybody to get interactive. We've got 1 hour where we can all join in, and I'll do a bit of there's been that much going through my head last night about it's kept me awake really, what we're going to talk about, how we're going to do it, just wing it, let's put a lesson plan together. We're better off winging it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put something together, just out of my head type of thing. But this is going to be happening every Tuesday between 9:30 and 10:30. We want people to share it, get it. Other pages have done it before. Get the word out there. Touch different countries, people who are still struggling. For the people who are, God love them, in bed, depressed, in the midst of it all the madness of addiction. They don't have to put. Obviously, it's not like a Zoom meeting. They don't have to show themselves. They can just listen. They can watch. We can get the message out there, and that's so sharing our experience, strength, and hope. And that's when we've got 22 people. That's brilliant. That. Thank you everybody for tuning in. So I'm going to start. So what's going on for me? Last night we had a Zoom meeting at Kickback, and we were going to talk about this morning about disappointment and expectations and stuff. But we're not. I'm just going to go on. This is our 3rd week now of doing these live videos. So we'll be doing them Tuesday, 9:30 till 10:30. We'll be doing recovery education at the Sheffield Wednesday football club up there every Thursday. That's going to be 5:30 till 6:30. That's teaching on a topic, and that'll be Fridays as well. Every Friday at 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock, we'll be teaching teaching on certain topics around addiction, recovery, and mental health stuff. Yeah. So this morning, I just want to touch on. We're talking about football again a little bit, just touching on football. That I'm not a football fan, I know nothing about football, but I did get kind of consumed by this Euro 2020 stuff. I watched the last 3 matches. Bit of a fraud, really. That's what I felt, because I'm not been following anything. But then I jumped on at the last stages. Call me what you want. But so I've got this in my head how people are feeling, and this could be not just around football. It could be. Obviously, lots been happening, lots of excitement, lots of disappointment, there will have been lots of drugs used, lots of alcohol used, there'll have been bits of arguments at home, bits of domestic violence, I'm sorry to say. Everything will have gone up, drug dealing, everything, and after it's all kind of gone, I did it for many years. I'm thinking, I'm just going to get this out of the way, whether it's Christmas, whether it's a football tournament, whether it's a birthday. Many years ago, it was the birth of my son. I'm going to stop using drugs after my son has been born. I made promises to people. I'm sure people have said to the wives and families, after this Euro 2020, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get my head back down, get into work. I'm going to do what's needed to stop drinking, stop using drugs. And we've all said it before. With other stuff, and we've always fell short. At the time, we meant it. Like I did for many years. This is it. This is the last one. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to have my last Friday night, my last bender. I'm going to make it a good one. I'm going to stop. And I said that for years and years and years. I'm sure we could all similarise to that, relate to it. We've all got those stories. And when we talk about Kickback, we talk about drugs, but obviously we support other people, you know, with food addictions, substance abuse, you know, even people around the relationship stuff, mental health stuff, you know, people come in to get some form of recovery with us through a narcissistic relationship, a toxic relationship. So when I talk about drugs at our teachings, for the people who are not in so much for drug abuse, but it could be something else, I kind of ask them to imagine in their head, whether it was the food, that's your drug. Whether it was the relationship, that's your drug. You know, the toxic relationship, that's your drug of choice or no choice. You know, where we were powerless and we kept going back, like we kept going back to drugs, we kept going back to food, we kept going back to these toxic relationships, you know, because we were powerless. You know, we always said, this is it, you know, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna end the relationship tonight. Sometimes we were selfish, we went to self-serve, it could have been sex, and we thought after we've got what we want, I'm gonna end the relationship, but we always went back for more. Same as with the drugs, we went back for more, we went back for another go, a bit more pain. So that's what I want to kind of touch on. So our third week this week, and what I've been doing over the 3 weeks, I've been sharing a bit of my story, quite a lot of my story. I've become honest, I've become vulnerable, and I've shared it. And I want people to like get involved with Kickback, start following it and supporting what we do, and coming to our meetings as well. We do quite regular Zoom meetings, Monday evening, 6 o'clock, Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. And like I say, our teachings on Thursday, Friday. And this, the recovery hour, 9:30 to 10:30 every Tuesday. And we do activities as well. But anyway, that's enough about that. So let's go back. So where am I going to start this? Where just before I did go into rehab, like I say, just my second rehab, it was lots of false promises. But at the time, I really meant what I was saying. This is the last use up. I always wanted to end on a high, you know, a really good last use up, whatever, mainly around cocaine. But where I was in my addiction, I was really, really unwell. I had lots of drug fuel psychosis, paranoia. I've shared this lots, and using drugs on like an industrial amount, big amounts, and going for days and without sleep. And I was so unwell. But I did have this desire that I need to stop, because if I don't stop, I'm going to die. It's slow. It's like they say in the fellowships, using drugs is like slowly committing suicide on a daily basis. And that's what we're doing. Wherever we're drinking heavily, wherever we're using lots of amounts of drugs, we're slowly killing ourselves. And some people kill themselves a lot quicker than others. As we all know, we've all lost a loved one. And yeah, it's not nice, is it? So yeah, so I'd had enough of this, that's it, you know, type of thing. I had to accept that I was a drug addict, and that was an hard pill to swallow, and accept I couldn't do it on my own. So I did reach out for help, and I did go into a rehab, you know, and I really, really wanted it. I spent hundreds of thousands of pounds with Class A substances over the years. I run to my last, say, 9 grand. I'd done all right in business before. That we're going to go on drugs anyway, and I made the choice. For me, I've shared this before, my money's running out. I'm in no physical state to go back to work. I couldn't put a deal together because everything I touched turned to crap. You know, I was losing money. If it were around drugs, I just used all the drugs myself. I found myself in debt. I found myself just paying drug dealers off, and my money was just going down and down. So I made this decision. The last £10,000 or whatever it was, I was going to spend on rehabilitation, get myself right, because I didn't want to go out there. I didn't want to go to prison. I didn't want to refer to like robbing and going back, you know, going many years backwards. I didn't want that. I wanted to get myself well. I was a 45-year-old man. I had a son. I wanted to be a responsible adult, you know, all the stuff that I weren't being. So I took myself off to a rehab, and I went into a rehab. I've shared this quite a few times, but I need to share it again. This is for the people out there who are struggling, who are in a place of like no hope, at a loss. You know, recovery is possible. There's lots of help out there. Get involved with Kickback. You know, I'm living proof that recovery is possible. Get involved with us. Start coming to our meetings regular. Come to Zoom meetings. You don't have to put your camera on. Just get involved with what we're doing day by day, one day at a time, and you start noticing the difference, the change in yourself and in your life. And that's what I did. So I've gone into a rehab. I've done, I'll be honest, I only had enough money for 8 weeks. You know, a counsellor I was working with at the time said you need at least 6 months. Lots of people in there were getting funding. I didn't know about how to get funding or if I could get funding. So I paid for what I could afford, and it left me a little bit for food and bills when I got home. And I totally surrendered, went into it and started working in a 12-step program. And that's what I did. So I meant well. I came out and I did 7.5 months, going to other meetings, anonymous fellowships, mixing with the like-minded people. And I had this voice in my head all the time. And this is, why don't you try it again? Why don't you try it differently? This time you can do it. This time you can manage it on your own. Just start using it again at weekends. Just have a little bit. And I did. I went somewhere on a night out in Sheffield City Centre. I met certain people. I didn't use on that night. I met them again Monday. I was shown some drugs. I just couldn't resist it, and I went for it. In my head, this deluded thinking, I'm going to take these drugs, and I'll be honest with you. Then I thought, I'm sure I can spin these drugs and make some money. But really, I was just kidding myself, because within 20 minutes, I found myself at home, locked in a bedroom, putting the cocaine out on a saucer, putting a porn film on, and I was gone. I was gone for weeks. You know, took me to a dark place again. It took me exactly where I left off before, within an hour or 2 hours. I'd had a 7.5 month rest. And in that rest, I thought, well, it'll be like, I'll be brand new again. You know, I'll be able to, it just took me exactly back to where I left off. You know, the paranoia, the psychosis, the just deluded way of thinking, everything, just totally well again. By God's grace, obviously when all the drugs had run out, I got myself back to an NA meeting. We're full of shame, guilt, quite fearful walking through that room. I went through that door, walked back in. I was met with open arms, and I was welcomed back. And I set off again in my recovery journey. And I did, honestly, I did have a few blips in between. And once again, I'll try it this way, I'll try it that way. And I always failed. And I have to be really honest. You know, I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share it honestly. And that I got myself in a really dark place again. I knew I just couldn't do it on my own. And like I said, keep back, we're not a religious group, far from a religious group, but I have my story and I have the right to share it, you know, the truth. And I reached out to God and I welcomed God into my life. And but just before I did that, I went to a daycare centre called Carmel Day Centre. I just got in on a Thursday morning, fresh back from a relapse, and I met a lovely lady called Sister Claire, a nun. I sat down with her, I shared some of my childhood stuff that affected me for a lot of years. I shared what we're doing, how we're using, and she talked to me about the inner child, the Holy Spirit, God. She prayed for me. Within 20 minutes, this is not like some mad awakening where the clouds opened and nothing like that happened, but we did talk about the inner child stuff, and it were what I was doing for many years, stuff that happened when I was around 12-year-old that upset me. I carried that all the way till the 45. Even at 47, I was relapsing on resentments towards certain adults that upset me when I was younger. And I never let go of the resentments and how I used to act out on using drugs. And I was still doing that at 47-year-old. And I talked to this Sister Claire about certain stuff, letting go of resentments and this inner child, and explaining that I need to bring this 12-year-old lad, bring him up to date, kind of thing, love him, say sorry to him. Because what we're doing every time we're using all the way through my life through pain. I never grew up. You know, I never grew up. I was just like, anytime I felt some uncomfortable feelings, I used drugs, drink, alcohol, whether it was solvents, whatever it was, to change the way I felt, to numb it, to temporarily numb it. The feelings always come back. And I reckon over the years as well, those feelings manifested, they snowballed, they come a lot bigger than actually they were, because I kept maybe in my own head adding little bits on. You know, it were a lot worse than it actually was. You know, it becomes so powerful, maybe at times using it as an excuse to carry on using. You know, any excuse to use, we all know that, whether it was raining, whether it was sunny, whether it was snowing, whatever, just to use drugs, whether your girlfriend had fell out with you or whatever. You know, and I just sat down with this lovely lady called Sister Claire, and we talked about stuff and this inner child, and she told me a book to kind of order, and I ordered this book. I think it around the title of the Journey Home or Coming Home or something around the journey. And this were like making friends with this 12-year-old lad and loving him, and that's what I did, and it really worked for me. But in all that, you know, I got this, you know, I needed something, you know, something bigger than me to help me and just I don't know what it was. So anyway, I invited God into my life and I started building this relationship with God. And I got lots of feelings of, lots of knowing this was the right thing. You know, big feelings of knowing that it were right. And I just built that relationship up. And I had one relapse from that. And in that relapse, or lapse, should I say, I got this big feeling of God sees everything. You know, I can't hide nothing. You know, God can see me watching porn. God can see me smoking a crack pipe or sniffing coke, you know, and this conscience just became too overwhelming where I flushed the drugs down the toilet, I binned the porn, and then I just started this recovery journey of like, never looking back really. And that's what I did. And in that, the good news in all that stuff, I did a couple of years of volunteering, and in that, Kickback Recovery was born. You know, I decided to set up a community group. We set up a boxing gym to start with. We got lots of help and support, and out of that, Kickback grew and blossomed to where it is today. So Kickback today is a registered charity, and we'll be celebrating 5 years on the 17th, or maybe the 11th or 17th of November this year. And that's brilliant. I ain't used drugs for coming up to 6 years at Christmas. And all that, and this relationship, I've still got my relationship with God, which grows every day. Kickback's not a religious program, it's spiritual, it's a program of connection. And I've just got this good life, you know, going on, and that's through having to let go of lots of stuff, resentments, and also just finally accepting, like for a lot of people, you know, that this is going to be my last time I'm going to do it. And you're saying to your wives, your girlfriends, or whatever, your friends, you know, I'm not doing it ever again, and we keep on doing. Just realising that's insanity in it, and just doing something proper about it, and getting involved, whether you get involved with Kickback or your drug services, or you have to take yourself off into rehab yourself. And that's what I'm kind of touching on. I'm just going to kind of slow it down a bit there. Is there anybody asking any questions, Sally, or anything? Is there anybody wants to ask any questions? Just going to try and make this quite interactive, or...
There's no questions as of yet, but just so many comments of support. So we've got Sixella, really appreciate all the meetings and lives, Mick. The Kickback family are helping to keep me focused. Consistency of being connected is key to recovery. That is what I've realised over the past 4 weeks. Brian Mosley, great work, Mick. Wonderful to see you reaching out and connecting. We've got Will, he's saying, you can manage it on your own. One of the biggest lies of drug use. Vicky Walker, morning, wonderful people. Mick, you're doing amazing. Getting vulnerable is the only way we can start to make progress. Siobhan Louise, hi, great idea. Jilly, just everybody's just absolutely loving it.
Good stuff. Yeah, so I just don't want to scare anybody off, you know, with the God stuff, and like we're not a religious group. I just share some of my story. 35 years, just over 35 years of using. I tried lots of different drugs. You know, yeah, I had some good times, like we all did. For me, I'm not glorifying drugs or anything. What got me with the party for one stuff, you know, addiction wanted me to isolate. I found I had better times on my own, you know, in my own little world, big amounts, lost in fantasy for many, many years. But that's where addiction wants to get to work on you, isn't it? Addiction wants to isolate. It wants to get you on its own, away from your friends, where you can use more drugs. You can act out in your whatever behaviours you act out in when you're under the influence of stimulants. We all know what I'm saying, and with the sex stuff and whatever, all the dark places it takes you to, you know. That's where it took me to, you know. And we just got to get away from all that, and that's the beauty with the Kickback stuff, because we are a program based on connection. Yes, we are quite spiritual. We have to kind of live a life on spiritual principles, doing the next right thing, just being good people, really. You know, steadfastness, we were talking about this last night, the principle of steadfastness, I have to work that. From time to time, I have a few days of depression. It comes, I don't know where it comes from, it just comes. I have to remember steadfastness, and you know, no matter what life is throwing at me, just keep doing the best I can and keep moving forward. Get myself out of bed If there's anybody at home now, sat in bed, depressed, I'm sure there is. You know what I mean? Get yourself up, get bath run. It seems like climbing a mountain at the time. I lived a life like that for a long, long time. Get up, get your teeth brushed, get yourself in shower, get up curtains open. You know, even if you can sit outside in your garden for 2 minutes and listen to birds or something like that. Come on, steadfastness. Let's work through it. Let's get positive. You know, we can sit at home. Just got messages coming. We can sit at home feeling sorry for yourself. Day after day, I did it for a long, long time. It's about, come on, taking some action, getting yourself up, getting out there. Morning, Jill. Morning, Debs. And anybody else? Rachel Brown, nice to see you. You know, and that's, Rachel just mentioned opposite action is a great technique for that if you Google, yeah. Research this, guys, you know what I mean? Sally?
Darryl would like to know, he says, Mick, what was the final straw while in active addiction that made you reach out and surrender?
Right. I get asked like this lots of times, but I think it was just becoming a 45-year-old bloke, you know, just still obsessed around Class A's, and my using took me to, and I'm going to be honest, locked away I worked really hard and you know, quite proud of what I'd achieved in business, and I always thought I was quite ambitious. You know, when I look back, and I've said this a few times, I look back and this ambitious person, it weren't ambition, it was addiction. I was addicted to money, I was addicted to people saying, oh, you've done well, look at this. And I go to any lengths to try and get those outcomes, you know, break the law, risk my freedom. And sometimes that, over the years, it did come on top with stuff like that. But it were always never hurting people, or not. It was just for me, for self-gain, and just trying to think, well, I never had this when I was younger, I never had that, so I'm going to do it this way, to whether it was selling drugs, whether what we were doing, Jack the Lad, to get what I wanted to get. And I got to them places, and when I look back, I thought, well, that ambition, no, that was addiction. That was greed, really. It was greed. A lot of lust stuff going on. So going back to Darryl, it was just looking at myself, and I'll be honest, there come a time when I didn't pick my son up from school, and I've shared this before, and this is hard to share. You know, it was an afternoon when I was supposed to pick my son up, 3 o'clock or 3:10, whatever it was, and I've been sniffing coke from early morning, you know, and I knew I had to pick my son up from school, and I knew when the time kept getting nearer and nearer, and I'm thinking, I need to sort myself out. Yeah, I'm putting myself out there to be judged, you know what I mean? It were many years ago, you know, it only happened once. But I didn't pick him up from school, you know, and his mum had to go and pick him up, and he was left at playground. Well, it must have been horrible, you know. Obviously, teachers stepped in and took him. But, you know, in my head, it was bad, but it was manifested into such a bad dad, bad person. You know, what have you done, you know? And I couldn't really live with that. It was hard to live with that. And that was the kind of wake up that, listen, you need to sort yourself out, Darryl. And that's what it were for me. And I've really been honest there and made myself vulnerable. And that, you know, that guilt and shame. But that's how powerful Class A drugs are. You know, for people who are just messing around with them at the moment, people who are just like getting into them. We talked about the football. You might have been in a few boozers or whatever, round to her friends. Come round to mine and watch the match tonight. Have a line of this, have a line of that. Try this, try that. You know, it's all starts off as fun, experimental. You know, you want to do it. You know what I mean? I don't think there's one person that, you know, it always started where it didn't start off as a choice. It always starts off as a choice, a bad choice at that, you know, to try whatever. But you're young, or you might be in an unhappy relationship, and you might want some escapism or whatever, and you try a substance. And then many years later on, that's where it led me to a place where I didn't pick my son up from a school playground. And there were a lot of other things as well that I don't want to talk about that kind of happened on a personal level. You know, I couldn't hold the relationship down, my relationship with drugs, you know, obsessed with the porn stuff, you know, not looking after myself, also an accumulation of everything. I was 45. In my last relapse, I was 47. You know, I'm an old man. It's a young man's game. The using drugs is a young man's game, and you will all get to an age where you become a bit too old for doing it. You don't see that many old drug addicts around here, or do you? You know what I mean? Most people pass away. God bless them. Sally?
Lovely lady called Georgina. For me, enough was enough. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And Will said his final straw was when he got sick. It was a normal virus, but he was so unhealthy from 20 years of drug use that it absolutely floored him. He was in such a state that even walking upstairs left him panting for breath. It terrified terrified him a lot. It was like being slapped around the face with a wet fish. And it still took him 2 or 3 years to do anything about it, though.
Yeah. Thanks, Will. And thanks, Daryl, and thanks for that lady. We hear the term being sick and tired of being sick and tired, don't you, quite a lot in the fellowships, and I get that. You know, we've come that ill of being ill, you know, and that tired on that carousel of using. For me, we're using quite a lot. It was like an event, you know, it were proper binging. It went on for days, weeks, sometimes at a time. When the drugs had finished, you know, I physically couldn't, sometimes I couldn't physically even hold a cup of tea in my hand, you know what I mean? It just, or that week, and then I went to bed and I might be sleeping for a week, waking up, eating, toilet, back to bed, doing that for a week or something, till I became that well I could use again. And then the cycle would all start again. And when you're lost in all that, madness, you are so unwell, you know, and this is what Kickback's about. It's offering you a place where we have, it's a registered charity, we regular Zoom meetings. Sally's going to put details on our meetings. We also, guys, have a closed members group as well called Kickback Recovery Members Group. It's all private. There's over 3,200 people worldwide on there. There's over 22,000, we're coming up to 23,000 followers on this page as well. So what I'm asking, I'm not begging for anything, is we have to get enough live time to be able to get these tools that we want, you know, where we can ask people, we get a donate button. So if people did want to donate, we'll never beg. But with us being, we are a registered charity, it's all official, we have trustees, management team, everything. So we have got our footings, like say, in concrete, built on concrete. So we've got us base there now. And now we're experimenting a little bit. We're going live, we're opening up to this recovery hour, which is like, well, what we're going to talk about. Oh, it's, you know, it's a bit like, it's a bit on you a little bit, because it's a bit like coming out of my comfort zone, becoming vulnerable, talking about things that I kind of put to bed and left behind. But I just want to give people this, share a little bit about me and where I was over the years. But where I am now, I'm in a good place where I've got no desire to use drugs. I've got no desire, I'll be honest, it might sound boring to some people, I've got no desire to watch porn. You know, all that sickness made me so unwell. You know, today I've got a good life. I can have good relationships with people, meaningful relationships. You know, I'm not trying to come at any angle. I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm not trying to control outcomes. You know, I can live and let live. I can love people. Today I can let people love me. Whereas before, for many, many years, you know, I didn't even know, I couldn't even tell you what love was. For me, love was sex. You know, it was all self-serving stuff that I wanted around sex stuff. You know, I'll be honest, addiction. You know, but, you know, I just thought it was the norm. I thought that's what, you know, I worked on doors for many years, lots of different girlfriends, and I thought the more girlfriends you could have, it kind of give you some status, you know, it give you a bit of a up in the rankings, or a nicer car, or you had a bit about you, you know what I mean? I was totally deluded. I was never educated. I weren't taught, you know, how to really conduct myself and how to behave, to be honest. And that's nobody's fault, you know. I'm not blaming that on anybody, but the lack of education, you know. I just grew up like you do on an estate and a comprehensive school and stuff like that, and just finding your way, and you know, and lots of years in juvenile courts when I was younger, and bits of prison sentences when I was younger. Not these days, no. I've learned through pain and heart, you know. Finally, the penny dropped, and it took me till I was 47 to like, listen, I can't use drugs successfully. I can't, I just can't, you know what I mean? I have to be careful, I have to be vigilant around certain people, places, things. You know, I have to be, you know, I can't become complacent, I can't become lackadaisy. I need to work this recovery program, which I've worked hard for my recovery. I'm really proud of my recovery. I don't want to use anything, you know, people are sat there, if you are watching and you are in a place where it's on you, you're riddled with it. Addiction is just, you're riddled with it, you know. You might even not even think that you are addicted. You might not be, or hopefully you're not. But you've got a problem with drugs, alcohol, you're in a toxic relationship that you really need to get out, but how do you get out of it? You know, you need to reach out for help. You need to get some advice. There's lots of help out there. Kickback's a place where we're like a LERA organisation with it's a lived experience recovery organisation. So there is a few of us with qualifications. I'm working on qualifications at the moment, but I've got this lived experience, and that's a lot. That's over 35 years of living it in active addiction. And over 7 years now, living in like the LERA stuff, living a life in recovery. And I've got a message to carry. And I want everybody to get involved, get involved with this 1 hour every Tuesday. Yeah, I'm sure I'll calm down a bit, settle down a bit, become more comfortable, become more confident as the weeks pass. I want to get people, getting involved, maybe it's a broadcast, so, like every week we maybe could interview 2 people, get other people coming as guests. If you want to send us a message, if you'd be up for that, if you'd want to talk, Sally.
There's just a question from Lee. He says, everyone has some kind of vice in life. Since you have given up the drink and drugs, what is yours?
Recovery. Innit? It's living a life in recovery. Thanks, Lee. Is that Lou Fates?
It is, yeah. I think what he means is you've put down the drink and the drugs. So what have you picked up instead? He feels that what have you replaced it for anything else?
Yeah. Yeah, lots of things. Chocolate, TV. I put the drink down, I put the drugs down, so I'm abstinent for that, but I've still got this addiction thing going on, and I have to work a program that arrests it daily. It's still going on for me. It shows itself in different symptoms. I managed to put the chocolate down for a bit. I went up to third lockdown, I went up to 21 stone, and that was because I just couldn't stop eating. I would enjoy my food, I would enjoy time to watch TV. I could get up, just jump on a Zoom meeting. I could be sat in my pants. I'm not sat in my pants now, but you wouldn't know, would you? So on these Zoom, I'm sure lots of people have sat in their pants or whatever in Zoom meetings as well. But we're getting away. Life were a lot easier like that, and eating, I'll eat this and takeaways. And I were acting out, eating lots of food, fixing feelings. For a lot of people, depression shows its ugly face from time to time. So I just get lost in food. But the weight kept going up and up and up, and it went up to the heaviest I've ever been, 21 stone, and it's like, it kind of happened overnight. It didn't. I was eating for months, but then I'll be all right. I'll jump on a diet. I'll get on a diet next week. I've lost weight before. I can do it. And it kept going up to 19 to 20 to 21 stone. It's like, wow, how have we got here? You wake up one morning, you think, shit, how disgusting is this, isn't it? And it's, do something about it, and that's what I've done. You know what I mean? I put the chocolate down, put the sugar down now. I got back into the gym. And I've noticed I've dropped 2.5 stone. I've noticed a lot of difference in myself. I've got another stone or so to go. Good stuff with Kickback, what we're doing on a Thursday. And everybody's welcome to this. If you want to join us in person every Thursday, you get to the Sheffield Wednesday Hillsborough Stadium and get there for about 5 o'clock on Thursdays, the Education Hub. You get involved with some Kickback recovery education, and then Sheffield Wednesday will put on, we've got a 12-week course, but anybody can jump on at different stages. And the course is all about it's having a good relationship with food and exercise. And what we're being taught is that no food's bad food. It's just the relationship we have with food that's bad. How we can be obsessed with certain foods. Sally?
Rachel Brown shared a link to a book about an inner child that she found really useful.
Brilliant.
And Bridget has said that she'd be really interested in the title of the book that you were advised to read.
Yeah.
So I'll get the link to that and pop that in the comments as well. We've just got a question from Daryl. What advice could you give to anyone sat on the fence about reaching out for help, Mick?
Nice one, Daryl. Thank you. Just like to say how well Daryl's doing. Daryl don't mind, but Daryl came to us. I think he's 8 months in now, I think, is he? No, is he? 4 months? Or?
Yeah, over 6, I believe.
Yeah, Daryl, well done, mate. I've got the exact. If you just want to let us know, put a little comment how well you're doing. So Daryl came to us and he's doing so well. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. Kickback works. It works if you work it, if you want it. It happens. So what was that question again, just quickly?
He would like to know, what advice would you give to anyone sat on the fence about reaching out for help? And he's 5 months. 5 months, Daryl. Well done. Yeah, just I sat on the fence for a long time, full of fear. Fearful of, not, everything I'd done in life I kind of achieved, you know what I mean? I was obsessed, I become, based around addiction, you know what I mean? I got obsessed with certain things and I wanted, and I'd make it work.
with the recovery stuff, you know, I first went down, well, I was told, a girlfriend gave me an ultimatum, get yourself down to Sheffield Drug Services or the relationship's over type of thing. You know, I went down there, I didn't go for me, I went to please other people. So it's never going to work, is it? It never worked. And I used to leave those one-to-ones, I think they were an hour once a week. You know, I went down there for 12 weeks. PSI stuff, you know, I'd leave and a couple of days later I'd be using. But for the people who are sat on the fence, you need to get off that fence. Listen to someone like myself and other people who are involved that kickback, and other people might comment and pass on a message that you just need to reach out. It's all about action. You know, nobody's going to do it for you. People aren't mind readers. You might be getting away with using. Your family might not know. Anybody might not know. But you know you've got a problem. And you need to be listening to people like myself who are sharing that, yeah, you might be getting away with it, whatever you've done around the drugs, but it will catch up with you. It's only a matter of time. Nobody's better than anybody. Don't think it won't happen to you, because it does happen to you, believe me. And just you need to get, if you're thinking like you've got a problem and that, well, you need to be exploring that and reaching out for help. Whether it starts off with your GP, don't be scared of going to your GP and thinking, you know what, I daren't go to my GP because it's going to go on my medical history and all. It's going to ruin house insurance or not life insurance and so on. Listen, this is life or death stuff. You know, whatever you can always get another job. Whether you're afraid that your employer will find out and you'll get sacked. Listen, you can always get another job. You can always get another house. You can always get another girlfriend, whatever. But you can never get another life. This is important stuff. This is important. This is life or death stuff. You know, I'm not sat here, you know, for fun of it. I'm not here sat here making myself vulnerable and being honest. You know what I mean? I didn't set a charity up for fun of it. It's been a lot of hard work that's gone into this charity. Five years plus with no money, spending my own money. I sold 2 houses to live. You know, couldn't get any benefits or anything. I've worked, you know, done a lot of service and stuff, and it's been for the greater good of giving something back to the community, setting a charity up that'll help people, you know, and that's what Kickback does. So anybody out there sat on fence struggling, you need to get off that fence and reach out, get in touch with your GP, get down to your local drug services, you know, and that's what, come to Kickback. We've got Zoom meetings, you know what I mean? Nobody in the island has to know you're on your Zoom meeting, you know what I mean? We've got the members group. You've got this every Tuesday now, 9:30 till 10:30. You've got an opportunity to ask a few questions. You know, come on, guys. Sally?
Just in response to that question, Will's put, you know, he wasn't one asked, but for him, he'd say, just give it a go. The worst that can happen is nothing, and you'll be left in exactly the same place as you are. You've got nothing left to lose by giving it a go.
Brilliant, Will. Thank you. And this is what we want, other guys, other people, men, women, you know what I mean, commenting on here. Anything else, Sally? What was Daryl saying?
Daryl's put, I'm a recovering alcoholic, 5 months dry, feeling the best I've felt in years and feeling like my life is my own again. Today I am in control, not the alcohol. Mick, Sally and all at Kickback, I could not have done it without you. I thank you.
Yeah, and I thank you, Daryl, for being part of what we do. Yeah, brilliant. Anybody else? Any questions, guys? So welcome to the Recovery Hour. If you've just joined us, this is every Tuesday from 9:30 till 10:30. It's a safe place to comment and express how you're feeling and what's going on for you. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. I haven't got all the answers, but I've got enough around me to kind of carry a message, and that's the primary purpose of life today. So, right. Anybody else?
I found the link to the book. I'm just going to pop it underneath now that you.
What was it called? What was the right name?
It's by John Bradshaw, and it's called Homecoming.
That's the one.
Championing the Inner Child. So it's £10.10 on Amazon. If anyone would like to purchase it.
Yeah, I'd advise anybody struggling with the inner child stuff to get stuck into that book. Yeah, it's good stuff, and it's because well, for many of us, it were all about that stuff, childhood stuff, weren't it? Trauma, might have been some abuse. You know, all around, you know, stuff that we didn't even understand, whatever we were feeling, it weren't nice. We started using stuff to escape that. Sally?
Sharon Keys made a really interesting comment, which we could perhaps explore a little bit. She says, judgment on choice of substance is an issue always.
Right, yeah.
So do you find that you know, people sort of like might say that one choice of substance isn't as bad as another choice?
Yeah, well, I used to do it myself. I used to think, well, I'm not smoking crack, I'm sniffing coke. I used to thought I was a bit, not so much up there on the social ladder. I when I first started experimenting with cocaine, I'd been a businessman for quite a few years. I'd done all right in business. Cocaine was introduced to me. And I've shared this a few times. I used to look at people and think, why would anybody roll a note up and sniff that that stuff up their nose. Why would anybody do that? I thought, wow, you know, I'd done other drugs before, but the thought of sniffing something up your nose, I didn't get it till I tried it. But then I thought, right, I've arrived. Part of business, part of you know, it went with a Range Rover, it went with a Rolex watch, it went with a nice house in the country, you know what I mean? I sniffed coke. Never ever suited me. Never ever suited me. I couldn't really have it socially because I was full of paranoia straight away. You know, I'd always have too big a line to everybody else. I was a bit of a show off. You know, buying it mainly just to have it around me. It attracted people, you know what I mean? Probably the wrong people. And I used to look, well, it's not crack. I'm not shoving a needle in my arm. You know, I'm not injecting heroin or, you know, I'm not, you know what I mean? Believe me, that stuff took me some, the cocaine, the sniff stuff took me some really dark places, Anything else?
Acacia has said, if any of her friends are struggling, what's the best way for her to get them to share or join the Kickback Recovery group? Any advice on helping her friends join?
Hi Acacia, it's nice to join us. Should I say? Yeah. So I don't know. Just show them try and invite them to the group. Acacia, show them what we do on the Kickback main page. Ask them to, you know, to join the members group. The members group, like I say, it's 3,200 people. It's free. Everything we do at Kickback, it's free. There's no subscriptions. There never will be any subscriptions. There's not like, I'm not saying other pages do, but it's not about subscribing. We're not going to ask for money. We're not going to ask for donations. We're a registered charity. We do our fundraising. We have people, professionals who write our funding bids out. You know, we work closely with other organisations. We're not doing this for any self-gain around us. You know, it's about carrying that message. It's part, how this recovery hours started is that every morning we do a clinic, a one-to-one clinic, and that's from Monday to Thursday, that's by Zoom. So we're just incorporating this into the clinic where it helps a lot more people. So Tuesdays it's still around it's a project called the Stay and Stop Project. And this is it. This is part of now of the Stay and Stop Project where we'll come on for an hour. We'll get sharing some stories. We'll get sharing some hope, and we'll let other people get involved. So yeah, but it is. I do get that. You know, when people do look down, don't they? You know, on other people. You know, if you're not sat in a gutter, and you sat at home in some £2 million house, you know, and mixing with the right people, but you're still using drugs. Alcohol's a drug. Look at all the people out there drinking alcohol who look down on anybody with a drug problem. But they have a drug problem themselves. Alcohol is a liquid drug. It's a mind mood altering substance. It changes the way you feel. Hello, everybody.
Will very amusingly has put that he was happy smoking crack and cocaine, and he looked at it the other way. He thought that people who did coke were the bad ones. Yeah. He said it's amazing how you can justify such utter nonsense to yourself when you're listening to your inner addict. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's that delusion, isn't it? You know, we're all looking for different ways, you know, for making ourselves feel better. You know, well, it's what humans do a lot, isn't it? You know, put other people down. Or, yeah. 6L has said that not at Kickback, she hasn't found this at all. She's found that everyone's equal, and that's what makes it so special. Everyone has their own journey of recovery, but everyone's shown equal love and support. That's correct. And how well are you doing? So, yeah, so at Kickback, we do practice. We kind of, before every meeting, I kind of mentioned that at Kickback Recovery, please respect that everybody's recovery is different. Be mindful of other people's recovery. Nobody's better than, nobody's less than. No matter what substance you are using or how much or how little, nobody's better than. You know, nobody's less than. We're all equal. And we also, that goes to affected family members and anybody who joins our meetings for an interest in recovery to get some, to find out what it's all about and that, yeah. Danny's asked another question if we're ready to move on. Yeah, let's do it, Danny. Yeah. If someone thinks they might have a problem, what sort of questions should they be asking themselves, or what telltale signs could they perhaps have within themselves that they have a problem? Nice one, Danny. Thank you. So anybody sat at home and thinking, do I have a problem? Like we've all done before, don't I have a problem? Just look at your life. You know, look at what's happening around with your life. If whatever you're using or whatever you're up to is affecting your life, if your life is becoming unmanageable, where we talk about unmanageability is like you're missing work. You know, you've got a good job, you use it, you know what I mean, you're missing days. So then, well, come on, if whatever you're doing is causing you to miss days from work, if
You know, it's ruining relationships. If you're a lot of secretivity going on, you're telling lies to your partner, you're staying at home using drugs. We've all been there. We go home for afternoon crafty sessions, or I'm not coming out tonight, I'm not, or whatever, I'm feeling a bit poorly today, and you end up you doing your little drugs or you're drinking on sly and whatever. Then come on, you know, there is a problem. You need to be looking at yourself and thinking, this is not a normal carry on this, and that behaviour will lead to spiral. You'll spiral down and down and down, and you will find a rock bottom where you'll lose your job, where you'll lose your relationship. Lots of people have, you know, where you lose. For some people, you lose everything, and that's that's how it has to be for some people. You know, we have to have a lot of pain because we're all in denial. You know, I ain't got a problem, or we was all in denial. There'll be people on this maybe watching this and, you know, in denial. You know, where it's not a problem yet. I ain't got a problem. Everybody else has. You know, we you know, pre-contemplation stuff. You know what I mean? You ain't got a problem. But carry on using, and you know what I mean. The problem will become more apparent. Yeah. Anybody else?
We've just got some really great comments about the work of Kickback and how it's helped them. So Julie said, Kickback recovery is very special to me. Like Mick said, if you're out there feeling depressed and in the grip of addiction, recovery groups do work as long as you put the work in. Tune in and join our meetings. Recovery and Kickback changed my life in so many ways.
Thanks, Julie.
Sally Dudley, she says, I can't relate to drugs and alcohol, so I can't say I understand what you all go through from day to day, but I've been following this group for a long time, but I can say I think you're all up there with the most inspirational and brave people on the planet. Amazing, brave people.
Thanks, Sally. Thanks for all the support. It's brilliant. We do have people who do support us. You know, I think nobody's got a perfect life, have they? There's always something going on for somebody. You know, and I think Kickback, just like I said, we're not making it all about the drugs. We're inviting people in. You know, we're trying to broaden the horizon. You know, like if you got whatever's going on for you, you need a bit of a community group to get involved with. You know, welcome, join our pages, get involved. You know, yep.
Vicky said she's had such an amazing experience with Kickback. I think Vicky's been with us for about 5 months now, hasn't she? Yeah. If it hadn't been for Kickback through the COVID lockdown, I literally would not know where on earth I would be now. Thank you to the amazing people. You're all so crucial to me and to others. Lee, Kickback recovery is a part of my life now and always will be. Thanks to everyone who takes part. Yeah, thank you, Lee. Thank you, Vicky. Kickback recovery is a group effort. I can't do it on my own. I could be sat here, well, me and Sally, just, you know what I mean? There is some connection there, but how it works and how the miracle happens is when we all come together, we all bring something different to the table. You know, it's a miracle. People start sharing the stories, the hope, their experience, and people do get well. The door's always open for people who come and go as well. You know, we get lots of people, sadly, who do relapse or lapse, and they come back, they come in and going. Some people have been coming and going for 5 years, you know what I mean? But the door's always open for them people. But I just want to say thank you to Vicky and thank you to Lee for getting involved and doing. And thanks, Vicky, for volunteering for tomorrow to take the group tomorrow morning. Thank you. Just in response to what you were saying about if you think you've got a problem, Will's just put, how to know if you have a problem. Does your drinking or drugging stop you doing things you used to be able to do or want to do? Are you lying to people about why you are not doing those things? And are you justifying to yourself your excuses for why you're blowing off responsibilities and commitments? Yeah, thank you. So yeah, there's lots of people are suffering from depression and just reading chronic pain and loads of pain relief medication. We have to be careful around that stuff as well, prescription drugs, don't we? You know, we have a few people coming to our groups, you know, addiction around prescription drugs. You know, we have to be careful what we're taking, the opiate stuff and that, yeah, opiate-based stuff, yeah. Louise has put, I've been suffering from severe depression, chronic pain, and she's been on lots of pain relief medication for years now. She's now been put under a pain management plan as they're saying the medication could be causing the pain. She's a little bit apprehensive about how she's going to get on. Okay, well, I hope that goes all right, yeah? Yep. Yvette, hi Yvette, Kathleen Thackeray, hello. Anybody else? Clock's ticking, so we've got about 10 minutes left. I thought, come on. We've had 35 shares. People have brilliant. Shared this everywhere. Thank you. It's fantastic. Yeah. So that's what we need, guys. Without begging, we just need people sharing what we're doing. We've got recovery education. So it'll be from a PowerPoint Thursday, 5:30. Get on. You know, get some. I don't know what we're talking about this week. We've got lots of PowerPoints that we've been
kind of teaching over the last about 5 months. We're going to go back up through some old ones. We're making new ones up all the time. So Fridays, 2 o'clock, Thursdays, 5:30, 1 hour of recovery education. And that's kind of live what we're doing. We're live feeding it, streaming it, and it's coming from our meeting. So don't let that put anybody off actually coming to our meetings, because what we have an anonymous bench where people just sit to the side and there's no like live camera on you. It'll mainly be on me, and anybody who does want to speak, obviously with their permission, we will put the camera on them. But the rest of the people, they don't even see a camera. And that just lasts us for an hour. And then the second half of the meeting is where obviously it's not live, it's really private. That's where people talk about what's going on for them in a safe place to do so. So what we're doing at Kickback, we're just trying to open it up a little bit to get these people sat at home who can't physically get to a meeting due to the mental health, due to the physical health. And what it is giving people an opportunity to have a meeting from home, to have some connection, to get some knowledge that might just change and save their life. And it's a group effort. There we go.
Casey has asked, can you come along and support friends and family? Obviously, they have to ask you to be there to support, but do we support, friends and family as well?
Well, definitely, we do support. We say it all the time, we support affected family members. So anybody who's feeling the ripple effects of a loved one, their behaviour, our addiction rips families apart, breaks homes, you are welcome at our meetings. Come and get an understanding of what's going on for the person you love, where they're at, because they're quite poorly. They're really poorly, and get an understanding. Get some support, to help you, yeah.
Daryl's touching on the steadfastness that you mentioned earlier. Any advice on how to get plasterers back to work after a Euro Cup final?
I don't know, I'll leave that with you, Daryl. Yeah, you're the man with the plastering stuff, but yeah, I think you just accepted what's gone off, innit, Daryl? You know what I mean? It's been like a Euro final. They've had lots of pop, and a bit of party and that, and it's just about, they'll be back, they'll need them wages, won't they? So yeah, it's just about being a bit understanding, Paul, yeah. But I want to say thank you to Daryl for all he does. Like I say, I can't say thank you enough for what he does, what he brings to our meetings. Yeah.
Yvette's saying she doesn't know what she would have done without Kickback Recovery. Her son was in hospital on a life support machine through taking drugs, and just thank you so much for your support, Mick. Yeah. Ash, Kickback Recovery has helped me in many ways and given me a new way of living and a brilliant set of friends. Danny, quite simply, Kickback Recovery is a lifesaver.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Julie, great stuff, Mick and Sally and everyone who's joined in. Well done. This is maybe your first step to the rest of your life. Sending vibes, love and positive. Yeah,
good stuff. It's really nice to hear all the Mick and Sally stuff and that, but what you need to be remembering, it's Kickback in general. It's not me, it's not Sally, it's Kickback together, and that's with the management team, that's where you guys, the service users, members, the Facebook page, everybody does a little bit, and that's what makes Kickback what it is today. The group effort. So I don't want to take no glory whatsoever for that,
Bridget just wants to let everybody know that, Kickback supports in many ways, because it took her years to admit she had a toxic relationship and she was very damaged. She's now, with the help of Kickback, claiming her life back. She's got CPTSD and she does have triggers, but she's learning to deal with them in different ways, and she's not, she can now focus on the future rather than freezing. So that's thanks to Kickback.
Good stuff. Yeah. Well done, everybody. It's... So the invite is out there for people who've never been to a Kickback meeting. There will be information in the comments, the times, the days of our Zoom meetings. Everybody's welcome. There's no password, just an ID number. You're welcome at our in-person meetings. Come and join us. Come and get some community, some connection. It works. Get some knowledge of what's going on for people. Why you're feeling the way you do. How the brain's working or not working. It's good stuff, We're coming up, we've got 5 minutes left. I was thinking, how are we going to fill this? What are we going to talk about? There's nothing written down. It's just winged, It's just, and I think that's how we're going to do it with the recovery hour. With the recovery education, it's not, we put a lesson plan together. But with this stuff, it's just open for any. We can start talking or about any topics or anything what's going on for people. Like I say, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to open it up and have guests to come in, so you can come in yourself and have a 10-minute slot. Share what's going on for you, or a bit of your knowledge. Yep.
Paul Louise Bryan would like to know, do we do meetings on a weekend at all? I have put all of our meeting details as a pinned comment.
Yeah, but we at the moment we don't do actually. We did used to do a Saturday afternoon meeting, but it's about some of us also need a bit of time off, and we need to like put us recovery first. I know we don't have a day off in recovery, but part of that not having a day off is self-care, you know, looking after yourself. But what we do have, so there's no in-person meetings, there's no Zoom group therapy stuff, but there is quite from week to week. Well, yeah, there is like walks. There's fishing. We went fishing last week. If you keep looking on the closed members group, there'll be information. But there's a picnic this Friday if anybody wants it. I won't be here this Friday, so there's a picnic and people are meeting at Crooks Valley Park in Sheffield at 1 p.m. So it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Just bring a bit of a chair or a blanket. It's a lovely park and a bit of snap, and people are just meeting there to talk among themselves, and that'll go on for a couple of hours. Or you can come and go whenever you want, you know, but that's starting at 1 o'clock. Danny's going to lead on that and Daryl, and I think our friend Claire's going to help out with that as well. So, yeah. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks for everybody. You know, the shares and what we're trying to, inviting people to like this page to build up the following. You know, like I said, it's coming up to 23,000 worldwide. We've got lots of people, you know, worldwide that get involved. We've got made some good friends and connections through Kickback being worldwide. But also the kind of, we'll be doing this recovery hour. We were talking for a long time. What is the best time to do it? Do we do it in the afternoon? Do we do it in the morning? Do we do it at night? And whatever time we do it, we're not going to please everybody. So we decided that morning would be the best, and then we can crack on, because Tuesday's a study day for me, where I'm doing some studying for a qualification I'm working on. So it works good for me. It works good for Sally. It works good for people probably when they've done the school run and dropped the kids off. They can get straight into this. And for the people who are not so well at home, you know, who are pottering about, not knowing what to do with themselves, it's an opportunity they can just drop on. So the time it's going to be 9:30 to 10:30 every Tuesday. And I think, guys, we'll grow into this as a community, and we'll become a bit more relaxed, and we'll get talking about certain topics that need to be talked about. Yeah.
We've had a really, really good response to this morning's video. We've got 85 comments already. We've had over 50, 60 views already. It's going really well.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. And I started the meeting off talking a bit about myself, and sometimes that can be quite painful, because it's stuff I've kind of put to bed, and I've worked through it. But then I do feel the need. I do need to share my experience around certain stuff that I've kind of lived it for a long time. But today's totally different. Some of that stuff I shared, it's cringeable, what I talked about earlier. You know, I thought, well, did I really behave like that? Did I do that? Today's totally different. To be honest, I woke up early hours this morning, and it happens that, like it all probably does for a lot of people, where we look back and think, did that really happen? Did I really behave like that a few years ago? That never happened when I were in active addiction, and I were really in using lots of drugs. I never did that reflection stuff, because I was too busy, you know, self-serving and making it all about me. Now being in recovery and having a peaceful life and having some distance from using and stuff, I can look back and reflect and cringe and think, what were all that about, you know? And this is why this is so important, this stuff, what we're doing. It's to look, you know, to help other people and try and steer other people before they reach those depths of despair. Yeah.
I think it shows that, you know, these are working. Paul Bauer, he's written that he's tuning in today for the first time in a very long time, and it's really helped him. He's going to continue. Yeah, thank you, Paul. I remember you, Paul, from Salvation Army when we were doing our group therapy down there. You know, I often think you're doing all right. It's lovely to hear that, Paul. Please stay close, yeah, and get involved with the Zoom meetings as well, where you can talk and you can get involved in that, yeah. So the time is, what time is it? It's coming up to 10:29.
10:29. So 1 minute. Any last comment? Anybody who's struggling and wants to ask something, don't be shy. You know, if you're really, really struggling, just put a comment in, and I'll try and answer it the best I can. But there's no pressure. Right. Yeah, can't believe it. A bit of an accident this morning. So right, we're going to leave it at that then. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. That was our first recovery hour. Wow, an hour. Yeah, so listen, we'll see you all again. Well, next live stream is Thursday at 5:30, which will be education stuff. stuff. Brilliant. Come and get involved. Yeah. But if you just want to leave it with this stuff, you know, the morning stuff, whatever, everybody's welcome to anything we do. Yeah. So hopefully see you soon, guys. Thank you. Take care.